Hi, this is Grandma with the Keto Show, and I am getting ready to run my first marathon this morning. It is March 9th at 10 after 6, and I'm getting ready to leave for the race. It's at Sandridge State Forest. It's called the Cactus Classic, and it's ran in the sand. And today we're going to have some special challenges because there is a winter storm that is in our area, Winter Storm Taylor, and we are going to have 100% chance of rain, some heavy rains and winds, gusts up to 40 miles an hour. All the snow is going to stay north of us, which is good, but running in that wind is going to be tough. And I'm a little worried about making the cutoff. We have 3.5 hours to do our first 13-mile loop. And a couple of friends and I went 2 weeks ago to Sandridge and did a practice loop. And during that time, it was raining and the trail conditions were icy. And it took us about 4 hours. So I'm just going to try and stay really focused and keep moving forward, even if I have to walk. That is like a 16-minute mile, which, is doable, but just with the conditions, it's going to be tough. So once I make that cutoff, then I'm golden. I just have to cover the distance. So I'll let you know how it goes and hope I make it the whole way. Okay, I made the first loop. I got to the cutoff, and so I'm really happy about that. And now I just have to finish this next loop. That's 15 miles. The wind hasn't kicked up yet, so that's good. First hour was dry, so that was good. And I'm going to turn this around so you guys can see the trail conditions. They're worse in areas and better in areas, but it's a lot of ice and a lot of water. And so anyway, it's happening. I'm gonna finish, and I'm gonna put this away and get moving. Well, I finished the marathon yesterday. I got it done in 7 hours and 37 minutes. It was pretty rough. The conditions were bad. You saw that, but I really enjoyed the second lap better than I did the first one because I was so worried about making that time cut off. And then after I made that, I was able to just put that behind me and go on and enjoy the rest of the race. I found out not too long after I made that second video that I was at the back of the pack, and well, the last runner. And so anyway, I didn't stop and take any more pictures. I felt bad that everyone was going to be waiting on me, and so I just put my phone in my coat and left it there. And I was a lot slower the second lap. I finished the first lap in 3 hours and 15 minutes. And then it was like 4:20 for my second lap. I did a lot of walking, was in heavy rain most of the time and dodging the ice, and just trying to get around the big puddles so that my feet didn't keep getting immersed in the water. Even though they were wet, whenever your whole foot just got sank into that water, it just made it so much colder. And then about the time it would drain off and start to feel a little bit better, then it would get soaking wet again. So I was dodging water and ice and being careful, and just walked a little bit more since I didn't have that time hanging over my head. And being the last person isn't that bad. I just went with it. I knew I was last, and I had made the cutoff, and so I made the best of it. And so at every aid station, they knew who I was because everybody's waiting for me to come through. So it was like, oh, hey, are you Connie? And I'm like, yes, yes, I'm the last one. And they were all super supportive, telling me what a great job I was doing, ringing cowbells for me. And it was good. And then I had the sweeper vehicle behind me off and on, picking up flags and doing different things. And that's kind of a comforting sound, actually, because, you know, if you fall and get hurt or anything, somebody's not too far away. And I was concerned about that. And the driver, Greg, I think was his name, he was super nice. And at one point, I thought I had gotten off course. I didn't see him behind me, and I hadn't seen any flags in a while, and so I like turned around and started going the other way because I was afraid I was going to get lost. And by this time my phone had died, and as I'm heading toward him, then he saw me and I didn't see him, and then I saw him, and he speeded up and was wondering if I was okay, and I just told him that I thought I got off course and panicked. And so anyway, it was good. I did one time, I was running through water, and there was a branch out in the middle of the trail, and my first foot got over it, and my second one, I just hit it with my toe, just barely, just enough to throw me off, and fell like on my hands and knees down into a puddle of water. And that was the only time I fell, and it wasn't even because of the ice, which I was so worried about. It was just because I didn't pick my darn foot up. So that was really the worst thing that happened. And then at the end, I was the only female that finished in my age group, so I got my age group award, first place. And I was very happy about that I toughed it out and was the only one to finish in my age group, and was like just jumping up and down. I was so excited about it. And I did want to give a good big shout out to my friend Rob Hillsbeck, who went with me. He was so nice and stayed there and waited for me, and I would have had no one to celebrate with if he hadn't have been there. He stayed for like 2.5 hours. He finished in 5:19 and got second place for his age group, and then just hung out and talked to the race directors and sat in his truck quite a bit and read a paper and just waited. And so then whenever I was coming around that last corner, he had his truck parked where I was like running right toward his truck as I turned that last corner, and he started honking his horn and jumped out and took pictures and was just a great friend, and I really appreciated it. So thanks for watching this video, and hopefully I'll make another one out on the trails again.